So this is going to be a little bit different than my usual videos. Normally I'm doing projects from scratch and trying to be creative to make them as affordable as possible. Flexispot reached out to me though and was nice enough to sponsor this video and provide me with this aluminum pergola. So I'm going to show you how it goes together and talk about my opinion of the pros and cons of assembling one versus building your own. Some may say this makes me a sellout. All right, let's get to it. So the official name of this is the Aluminum Louvered Pergola Kit PG5. They really wanted me to read that verbatim. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, Flexispot, isn't that the company that makes ergonomic chairs and standing desks? Yes, it is. They also make outdoor products like this bad boy that showed up on a triple pallet and is their 10 by 13 foot design. As far as packaging goes, it easily earns 5 stars. It's protected during shipping almost to a fault, but I'll mention more on that later. So the instructions on this thing are pretty good.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
Now, if you've never built anything, like ever, then this probably isn't going to be for you. But if you've ever put together something, then you're going to be 100% fine. And if you survived an IKEA assembly,
I bet the Swedes have small hands.
this might be borderline relaxing. I attempted to do most of this alone, which surprisingly worked out for a decent amount of the assembly, but the instructions do clearly recommend to have at least 3 people build this. Now, Flexispot advertises this being able to withstand 120 mile/hour winds, but this is obviously under the assumption that it's fully assembled. I would not recommend doing this on an extremely windy day like I did, and we definitely didn't make that same mistake twice. When it comes to anchoring down the pergola, normally it'd be very straightforward, except in our case, our patio is extremely sloped because we are very financially efficient and had some pseudo-professionals do it. Because of this, we had to use some paver blocks under the legs to make it level. Now, you might be thinking, yeah, this looks neat, but what about the cost? Why wouldn't I just build a wood one? And you may be tempted to compare them, but they're actually very different. A wood pergola gives you some shade some of the time, but maybe not at the time you want it and will not keep you dry. And an aluminum pergola, however, gives you the option to go from partial sun to full shade whenever you want, with the added benefit of keeping out the rain. And building a wood pergola is much more expensive than buying a few 2x4s. Online estimates put building a 10 by 13 pergola out of cedar at $3,500 to $5,000. And again, that's for something that will take much more time to build, need to be stained, and ultimately have less functionality. Now, let's say you're sold on aluminum pergolas. The next thing you may be thinking is, I can find cheaper ones, why would I get this one? Also a good question. This isn't the cheapest, but I believe you'll get what you pay for with these. I watched some videos on competing products because I was curious if I could spot where their cost savings were, and I noticed a few things. One, the assembly of this Flexispot one is going to be faster. With the S-shaped slots, I was able to place the louvers by myself, and there was only 2 screws per louver. With some of the competitors, it looks like they had up to 8. That's almost 200 more screws to tighten. 2, though similar, the Flexispot pergola is simply a superior design. This is quickly apparent just by listening to the louvers while they're being adjusted. And lastly, 3, the cheaper competitors are warranted for 3 to 4 years from what I could find, whereas the Flexispot one has a 10-year warranty. I crunched the numbers on that, and it's quite a bit longer to guarantee a product, especially an outdoor one. At the beginning, I said it was packaged well, almost to a fault, which I know is a little bit of a weird complaint. It looks like the competitors just have some small cardboard pieces around each end, so it was nice that there was basically stickers protecting all the pieces. But just plan for some time to take all these off, because it took a while. A quick aside, we actually had a high wind warning right after the assembly was complete, and despite my questionable anchoring skills, it was completely solid. Which was great to see. So, is this pergola right for you? I don't know. I can't answer that for you. But I'll say this, if you appreciate paying for better quality, I think this is actually a good value, and would recommend you at least consider it. If that does sound interesting, check out the link in the description to get more info from their website, including any current promotions or sales. If you get one, let me know in the comments if you're happy with it or if your experience matched mine. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.